Hi everyone, Aquarian Humanitarian here. Today we will continue our dialogue. I'm grateful and excited because we get to sit with Sir Tato Malay. He has so much wisdom to share with us. This time it's about the 20 qualities of a Kamalayan learner. Kamalayan means consciousness. So the last 7 sessions, we've covered qualities number 1 to number 18. So today we will continue uh, and end it with quality number 19 and 20. And
Correct.
let's see how that goes. So, with that said, I want to welcome and introduce Sir Tato Malay.
Hello and good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you are watching us, or good morning. And we're here once again, bringing you the last two qualities that I had written in the book Lessons I Never Learned in School, Qualities of a Kamalayan Learner, 20
That's right.
qualities of that. And we're discussing on the last two. And number 19, the last one of the last two qualities is a Kamalayan learner is courageous.
Courageous. Okay.
Courageous. Okay. Okay. As what I've written, I'll read first what I've written in my book, and then we'll discuss what it actually talks about.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
A Kamalayan learner is courageous. Letting go of the past is hard to do. Many beliefs Many beliefs have been embedded for so many years, and changing them would seem to be impossible. Many fears appear, and it takes a lot of courage to face them. Unless we become brave enough to confront our beliefs, nothing will change. Fear of being criticized, judged, condemned are so strong that only with a courageous heart can one conquer them. To understand is not to fear. Courage is to do something in spite of fear. Being courageous in this world entails a conviction that man is a spiritual being and one never dies. Understanding the fear of death makes a person invincible. Fear is the absence of love. Without love, there is no faith, no trust, no joy, no kindness, no patience, no compassion. Without love, one lives a life of being afraid of almost everything and everyone at every moment. Being scared of life would make a person paranoid. Understanding is the key to courage. Understanding is the power behind courage. Knowledge and understanding of the universal laws and principles will empower an individual to give him the courage to face any fear in any situation. There is one fear that has to be overcome. The various interpretations of this particular fear have caused most of the confusion, chaos, violence, and wars in the world. This is the fear of God. Why fear God who is all good, all loving, and all compassion? Instead of us being God fearing, we should become a God loving people. The courage to change things in spite of insults, ridicule, or public humiliation makes us heroes. The courage to face the uncertain makes impossible dreams come true. The courage to change ourselves is to change our destiny. That's it.
Wow.
So, are you a God fearing person?
After hearing what you said, I'm going to be God loving.
Imagine we were all taught to be God fearing when God is love. And the opposite of fear, and the opposite of love is fear. And then you attach
That's
fear
correct.
to God. My God.
Yes.
See what religion had done to us.
Yes, yes, definitely. Wow. That's an eye opener because we're always taught to be
God
God
fearing.
fearing. And you're absolutely right. Fear is the opposite of love in the emotional frequency scale. So if we're in the fear, if we're tuned in the vibration of fear, then love is missing.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to find a way. Well, it goes back to what we discussed many, many times about knowing who we are.
Yeah.
Because if we know who we are, then that's how we gain our confidence. And through confidence, we will be more courageous. And when
Exactly.
we're courageous, then we're not afraid to be judged by others because we accept who we are, we're comfortable of who we are, we're confident of who we are. So people pleasing is a non-issue.
Yeah.
At that point, you
Well,
would just care about what, you know, what God wants for us. And so you eliminate the whole people pleasing, which is, you know, that's very, very difficult for others to do because again it goes back to they don't know who they are. That's the
yeah.
bottom line. So yeah,
All
know
right.
who you are.
Okay. So, wait, I'll ask you whether there's a sound that is bothering you in terms of what you hear right now. There's nothing that you
No.
hear from outside? Because right now, there's this flood control project that they're doing right across our street. And there's this pumping generator or whatever you call it that's actually ongoing right now. And there's a sound that they create, that it creates.
Mm, no,
So
you're
medyo
fine.
maingay siya. So okay lang, ha? No problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was
The
worried about that because
the
I thought
headphone
it might
is
be bothering or the quality of our sound.
no, you're
Anyway,
fine.
so again,
Yep.
where did this come from? God fearing. Who started teaching us to be God fearing? In other words, why was it really? I would say it was really a thing that was told to us that we should be. It was more of a commandment. You have to be a God fearing person. You have to fear God. Why? Because they wanted to control people. That's the only reason. They
Yep.
wanted to control people. And so when you say, if you actually do something that is not pleasing to God, God will punish you. God will do something to you. God will uh, inflict something to you that will do you harm. See, I mean, all these things were meant to control us, to frighten us, to submit to them our our liberty, our freedom, everything, and let them do what they want to do for us, to us rather. See, this is all in the name of control.
Fear
That's
based.
why they emphasize that word fear. Matakot
Yeah.
kayo.
Yeah.
Kasi kung hindi kayo matatakot, kayo ay mapaparusa. See, I mean, this is really control. That's all. And so we lost that particular essence of love, of loving God, of being loving. See, that's why we are a hateful people. Because imagine the one that we should love is actually we fear, we are afraid of. I mean, why, how can you love someone that you're afraid of, you don't trust, or you're not really comfortable with? So, I mean, if you love someone, practically you want to always be with that particular being or that person. See, I mean, this is something that we need to really address.
Yeah.
This fear of God. It has to be emphasize we're not God fearing. That's why I always in Kamalayan, I always say we're not a God fearing people. We are God loving. And
And
then, when people ask me, what are you? How do you describe yourself? I always say, I am not God fearing. I'm not a God fearing person. So they get shocked. What? You're not a God fearing person? Yes, I'm not a God fearing person because I'm a God loving person. Ayun, doon ko
then
na
they will
nagugot
understand what that means.
the
It's
difference.
it's shocking people, that's why. So yeah, so it's basically that's a fear base that we were taught. But
Yeah,
one thing that I want to comment is we don't want to impose the fear, that emotion of fear, but what we want to accomplish is that if you love God, then you do what God wants
yeah.
for you and for
Actually,
the
you
people.
you don't want to hurt the person you love. See, I mean, now they're using fear to say, no, you cannot hurt God because you have to be afraid of what He can do to you. Parang ganun eh. Like a parent, I will uh, spank you, or
Thank you. Uh-huh.
I will what do you call this? I will use my belt to slap you, whatever.
Set you. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a big one. I mean, a change, a shift of thinking that we really have to embody and teach people. Because Kuya Tato, for many, many years, it wasn't until I was awakened that's when I learned how to really pray,
Yeah.
because we are like, and I want to touch on this topic because this is really really important. And it's funny because we touched this in one of the Kamalayan session, and I think we really really have to teach people about how to pray, because we're I used to pray. When I used to pray, it would be like a request for some things, right? But it shouldn't be like that. Like, we're supposed to be treating God as our father, right? So
Communication, actually.
right, and the way we communicate, like, you know, it's funny because back then I would be like so afraid to even ask for what I want. I was so
Mm.
afraid. It's like, oh, like in my mind, it was like this limiting belief and this really, really bad belief that, like this boy is telling me that how dare you ask, these things. But it was a wrong mindset because, we're supposed to ask. We're supposed to, you know, he's our father and he provides for us. But, the thing that I wanted to touch base on is the topic. I want to go back to the topic that we discussed in the last Kamalayan session because you explained it very well. You said that you don't want people to pray for you when you're sick.
Oh
Please
yeah,
explain to
because
people so that they can understand why you said that, because it's
okay,
very profound.
I'll explain it again.
Yeah, so
Okay,
they can hear
you
it
know,
here. They can hear.
when we pray, we always think of what? The sickness, the disease. And what do
Hmm?
we feel? Kawawa naman siya.
Hmm?
Wag sana lumala. And the more you think na in that particular moment, that
Yeah,
way, I mean, you think that way, you are just projecting it in the
more,
reality
more and
more
more. Yeah,
of what that thing can actually be doing to us
yeah.
instead of the opposite of what we want. So, in other words, when we pray for someone to get healed, think of that person as already cured, up and about, standing up, dancing around,
Hmm.
doing the normal things he used to do. Not that on that on not especially seeing him lying in bed, helpless, hurting, And this is what will create more of the situation to that person that you're praying for. Instead of helping him be healed, become healed. That's why we pray the wrong way. We don't know how to really pray. We really use prayer to the point that it's instead of helping us, get what do what we want the prayer to do for us. We get the opposite of it. We actually
Okay.
create the opposite.
Okay. So
So
teach
again,
people how to say it properly. Like, thank you for healing so and so, God. Like you already have this picture in your mind that the person that's sick is already well. So
yeah.
what would you suggest that people would say in their prayer?
So thank you that he is again uh, uh,
Up and about.
standing up and about, healthy and happy and dancing and doing whatever what he was doing in the past. And there's nothing wrong. That's why when we send when I send a short notice to someone who is sick, you are whole, perfect, and well. I mean, I do not say, I hope you get better.
That's a good one. You're whole, perfect, and well.
Yeah, because basically there's nothing wrong with you.
Hmm.
That's us really. I mean, the disease that we have is not actually something from God. So when you use God in terms of associating our diseases with God, when we pray, I mean, God will say, "What's that? I don't know what you're talking about," because God is whole, perfect. I mean, there's nothing wrong. That's
Okay,
why
let's
who created
let
that disease? Tayo lang yung nag-create ng disease eh.
yes, 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 yes. I want you to touch on that because I people that is listening to this right now, they'll be like, what is he talking about? So go ahead and expand on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, who is God? If you really know who God is perfect. God is energy. And what is the energy of God? God is uh, uh, I'm healthy, wealthy. I mean, okay, if I have to now, every time I would try to think of it, I forget it. But every time I meditate, it always comes out in the morning. I'm whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, happy. And what else? Mm, I should actually have brought my código here with me. And practically, the
Affirming
attributes of
positive.
God. What are the attributes of God? God is, okay, I will try to get into my
So
meditation
close
mood.
your eyes then. Close your eyes. Maybe
So,
that'll help.
yeah, I mean, uh, God, I'm, okay, I'm happy about this. Okay. I'm whole, perfect, strong. I'm talking about the same thing again. All right. Anyway,
It'll come.
I will just look for it now. I mean, I will. I mean, that's my problem. Every time I try to remember something that
It's
I
okay.
normally uh, uh, I know, which I take for granted because basically I do it every time in the morning, and then when I try to bring it back at a particular time, I don't get to remember it. I don't know why.
It's okay.
Anyway, so
Well, maybe it's not time right now to say it.
maybe it's not yet that well
Yeah.
known. Well,
Maybe later, if you have time later, maybe you can expand on that and
yeah,
share it.
yeah. But practically, again, we have to be reminded of who God is. All right. Anyway, so I'll see if there is something that I can.
So anything that is positive, high vibe affirmation, that's what you should be
Hmm.
claiming. for
Claim.
you and for people who's ill.
Okay, all right. Okay, I have something here. Okay, I have it already. Um, Strength is one of them, attributes of God, strength, justice, faith, love, understanding, will, imagination, power, order, zeal, renunciation, and life. I mean, okay, yeah, order, understanding. Practically, those are the attributes of God. So, so it's all about power, all power. Because if you look at the three descriptions of God, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. So omnipotent is all powerful. There's no sign of weakness there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sign of sickness or disease. So all powerful. That's who God is. And so you cannot associate God with any disease. That's why when you say, God, I don't know why I'm sick, practically you are not aligned to God because of what you're feeling at this moment. That is the sign that you are not aligned with God. That's why every time we pray for someone, we always ask that tell that person, you're whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, happy. You remind them of who he really is. You don't tell him, oh, you will get stronger. At this moment, you're weak. So we understand. No,
It's like you're affirming.
you're just affirming that that is his real state. That is not supposed to be a real a reality because that's an illusion because we created that. It's an illusion. So our sickness really is an illusion. Nobody should get sick in the first place.
Yeah.
That's why when we get to discuss all these things about God, I mean, you will be able to really see why the opposite appeared in terms of what we're experiencing. Because here on earth, we're supposed to experience the opposite of everything that we know already that are really positive.
In the higher realm, opposite of the
So
higher realm,
in on, I mean here on earth, this is the only place where we experience the negative, the
duality.
opposite, the polarity. Because in
Hmm.
other parts of the universe, there's no polarity. There's only
Correct.
just spirit in terms
Yep.
of spirituality, the positive things that we know.
And people don't realize that they came here for a reason to experience these things.
Yeah,
They chose it.
and then
And
they chose
people,
to stay on that particular level. When in fact we're not supposed to stay there. We're just supposed to experience it to know the difference between being healthy and being sick.
Mhm.
And so now we accepted sickness as really normal. When in fact it should not be because health is the only normal thing that we should be able to think because health is practically associated with God.
So do you have your cheat sheet? And possibly you can share, um, for example, if somebody is suffering with cancer or heart disease, what was the emotional
Okay.
attached to that sickness? I think that that's one thing that I would like for
Yeah.
the viewer to understand.
All
If you
right.
have that
I
cheat sheet.
actually, yeah. I mean, I have this particular kind of way of looking at sickness, and it's all about emotions
Hmm.
attached to it. And
Right.
once you correct the emotion,
Yeah.
you're able to heal the person because I don't give them medicine. I just tell them the affirmation to think about using
Yep.
that, and then telling them exactly why they got it, what kind of an emotion did they feel that
Hmm.
actually created that sickness in them.
Yep.
All right. Wait.
Like let's focus on the big one. Like, see. like
Okay.
heart.
All right. I actually have everything here with me. Wait, I'll just have to look for it because I have a lot of books in my um, Kindle. Hmm, where is it? Mhm. All right. Anyway, if I don't have it, I'll just research for it in terms of what I had posted in my Facebook because I usually write about it. Um,
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
called
very
mental
important.
equivalent.
Yeah.
So I teach what we call mental equivalence. And what is mental equivalent all about? It's about the equivalent of a certain emotion that actually create that would create the disease. All right. So, for example, all right. Many believe, all right, I will read something that I've written here. Many believe that negative thoughts and emotions can attract illnesses. This concept, often referred to as the mental equivalent, suggests that how we think can directly affect our physical state. For instance, if someone is frustrated or feeling frustrated, they might manifest symptoms like a headache or a fever. Rather than just asking what's wrong with me, it can be more insightful to ask who is the matter with me or who is the matter with you, because practically it's another person who brings you that kind of an emotion. This shift in perspective can help us explore underlying emotional issues. Now, there are, for example, anger and hostility can lead to conditions like arthritis and heart problems. Fear might result in asthma or digestive issues. Di ba kung minsan,
Mhm.
well, actually, not only fear, but when we are angry, sometimes nasisira yung tiyan natin. When we're actually eating and then we get angry, chances are we get an upset stomach. That's
Mhm.
why when we eat, we're not supposed to feel any negative thing. We're supposed to be happy while eating. Because the moment you feel something, automatically it will disrupt something in your digestive system. So,
Okay.
grief and depression often linked to serious conditions like cancer. Now, guilt can manifest as back pain or other chronic conditions. So, in other words, these things have real effects in the body, our emotions, our emotional state. That's why if our emotional state is really negative,
Mhm.
chances are your body will get affected by it
Yep. Yeah.
because we are one in terms of who we are. We are
Mhm.
one with our emotions, our feelings, and our body. They're all connected. So the moment anything changes or is given energy or more power or more focus, there is a certain reaction or consequence to it. And it's good if it's positive, but if it's not, well, it will result to something negative like a disease. So when Jesus actually would heal someone, all he would say is, I'm not the one. He actually doesn't even say it. It's not me who heals you, who is doing the healing. It's actually your faith. That means you have changed your belief. The
Yeah.
moment you change your belief, your diseases will be cured. Just
Correct.
like many of those who would go to places like Fatima, places where there are some miraculous healings that had transpired in the past. People would go to those places and expect a miracle. And
Healing.
they get the miracle because they
Mhm.
believe that they will be
Yep.
healed. Now, the problem here is when they get home and they go back to their original beliefs, of who they
Yeah.
are or who they think they are, the disease comes back to them. So sayang, na-heal ka na eh. That's why this should be really taught in schools, these things that we're talking about. Because if we can actually discuss this in a formal educational setting, I mean, medicine will not be any more important in, in this world. I mean, you don't need medicine because you know how to heal yourself already by
You're
using
right.
your thoughts.
Yep. And that's gonna be our future, being able
That's
to
gonna
heal
be our
ourselves.
future.
Yeah. So I just remember something real quick because I was going through my Facebook and I was actually seeing a post whereas the person believes that they're sick because of witchcraft. So can you comment on that?
Oh, witchcraft. Well, all right.
Like nakulam.
Practically, there is nothing that can harm you if you don't let them, you don't believe in them. Nothing, for that matter. For example, someone would say, "I will, I will think of this person as someone who will suffer." That won't create anything to the other person. That won't do anything to the other person. It will do something to yourself more. That more damage will be done to you than to the other person because it will not affect the other person in terms of what that particular thing that is being done. That's why even you say witchcraft is a thing that people get to use to harm other people. Again, if the other person doesn't, I mean, if they don't really believe in it, they won't get harmed. I mean, they won't be harmed by it. That's
So
why
what
a
if
lot of
people so what if this person that's sick believes that the person that he or she is suffering from pain because of witchcraft? What would you suggest they do?
well, they only would say, I mean, our alignment to God, to 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 who God is really in His life, because basically, when you get sick, you are not aligned. The moment you get sick, you're separated from God because you cannot be sick if you're aligned with God. That's the real situation that we're supposed to understand. That's
Okay,
why,
so how can people align with God? That would be their next question.
okay, well, of course, higher consciousness, happy, peaceful, loving, positive, joyful, happy, all these things.
Okay, so basically, viewer, what Kuya Tata was saying is basically what we have been discussing every time about consciousness. Uh, Lower vibe versus higher vibe. So we get sick because of our negative actions, negative thoughts,
Yeah,
negative
beliefs,
feelings. So if
especially our
you
beliefs.
want to move away from that low vibe, you're going to have to raise your vibration. And there are many ways on how to raise your vibration. And when you're in that vibration, then you don't attract negative sickness.
Exactly. I
So
mean, we are
focus
God
on the
as we.
positive.
We are already God as we. We know that. And then, why will you still believe in something negative as such as witchcraft?
The problem is people don't know who they are yet. That's why we're
Yes,
having
exactly.
these
That's why we're teaching them
videos.
who they
This
are.
is why we're having this conversation because you got to know who you are. That's the bottom line.
That's why, that's why they created the devil because they cannot associate anything negative with God. So
Hmm.
who is the devil? Everything that is negative.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
personified the devil in terms of, well, what they wanted to do because they cannot oppose God really. They know God cannot be toppled. I mean, God
Yeah.
is so powerful, and so
Yeah.
there's nothing that could actually go. I mean, even like how they believe that the devil can actually harm God. I think they're they're just disillusioned in terms of what they studied in terms of their theology or whatever they believe in. I don't know where it came from. Again, if
That sounds like Satanism to me.
yeah, I mean, okay, Satanism, practically all these things that are negative came from a different kind of God that people believed in during the early times. Remember, the Elohim, the 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 atheists who actually came to our world, and they were actually the ones written in the Bible as what as personified as the gods. I mean, that's why you know Yahweh was even singled out as one as the real God as against the other gods. That's why in the first commandment of Yahweh that Yahweh gave to Moses,
Hmm.
thou shalt honor only one God, and thou shalt not honor other gods before me, because there's so plenty of them during that time who were claiming to be powerful because they were all gods in the first place. They knew who they were. They created practically everything in terms of uh, uh, even us for that matter, because they were so advanced. So they were able to create so many things in the universe with their power. And so during that time, when they were here, that was what was written in the old ancient texts, like the Babylonian text, the Sumerian text, and the Assyrian text, which became the Old Testament in the Bible, which they copied from the old texts. So, in other words, if they really would uh, acknowledge the fact that this is the real Bible that we're talking about, the, that's why I had to come up with a book called the Galactic Testament, which I want to say that this is the real Bible that we are supposed to be believing in. Because basically, those people described in the Bible, sila Yahweh, El Shaddai, El Elyon, uh, there's something like 17 of them. Practically, they were all extraterrestrials who belong to the what is written in the Bible, the council.
Council of
Uh,
Nicaea.
di ba? Hindi, right? Council of Elders, not Nicaea, because
Oh,
Nicaea is a council
Council
of
of
gods,
Elders.
of
Yeah.
people. Council of people yun, Nicaea. I mean, sila Constantinople yata yun. So,
Council of Elders.
Council of Elders. So, the council that was written in the Proverbs, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, practically, they even named a lot of names. And Yahweh was just one of them. And Satan was just one of them as well. And Satan was one of those who actually, okay, kumbaga parang siya yung ano tawag dito yung when you say I will play the devil's advocate, I will oppose exactly what you're telling me. That's how
Hmm.
that devil came about. He was always opposing kunyari
I
just
see.
that
Yeah.
oh let's I just try to come up with this scenario because we might be wrong in this. So he always would think that way. That's why the
Yeah.
devil was associated to Satan, because
Hmm.
practically that's what he did. That was his mission. That was his duty, to play devil's advocate to everything that they were talking about. Yun lang ang role niya. And look at those times when they were written about Satan talking to other uh, uh, names also. I mean, those people who were considered gods. So he was just one of them. Si Yahweh ang pinaka ano doon, controversial, because Yahweh was the one who stood out as the one God that the Christian people believe in. And Yahweh was the worst person in the council to actually look up to, because he when during that time when the land was being distributed to to all of them, Yahweh was given the most barren kind of land. And I think basta wala kwan. So he thought of conquering other civilizations during that time, because hindi nakaparang sa kanya. He felt that ano kayo, bigyan wala kayo binigay sa akin. So I need to invade what you have. I mean, to get what I can get from you so that I can also survive. And that's how Yahweh survived, by invading and demolishing other tribes. Di ba? Yeah, naglaban-laban sila ng mga gods doon. But basically, they were all just extraterrestrials. And if you cannot absorb or accept that story, I I think yun ang problema natin up to this moment, because practically they don't want to accept that story that was already accepted in the past. That was written explicit in the Bible. That was how it was played up. They were fighting they were fighting each other because they were who was the leader? El Elyon, not Yahweh. El Elyon. Look at the Bible and look for the name El Elyon, 2 words, and you will see all this. I'll send you as a video later on. I don't know. I think I posted it on my wall. I mean, the different gods, exactly
Yeah, it would
what I'm
be
talking about.
helpful. Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
helpful if we
I
can
will. I
attach
will
it to this
because
video
it
post.
was. I don't know if it was Dan who actually requested me to name. I think it was Dan. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was Lexi. I sent it to Lexi, so I should have sent it to Dan pala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be good because not everybody knows that
Yeah,
because we're not even we are just focused on the New Testament. We don't really
that's why
study
si Jesus
the
never
Old
mentioned the
Testament.
name Yahweh. He never mentioned the name Yahweh. He always said God is. You can liken God to a loving father, because he was opposing what was written in the Old Testament of who God was. So dito, loving father. Doon sa Old Testament, talagang a God of revenge. I mean, a vengeful God, a hateful God. I mean, someone who would actually inflict pain on people. Is that the kind of God that we're supposed to believe in? And that's exactly the kind of God that religious orders accepted. Si Yahweh. That's why normal ang wars sa atin. Because sabi, if God can create wars during that time, so it should be normal. But it's not. Ito
We
yung
can
mga,
there
yeah,
we can expand on this so much because there's so much stuff that people are not aware of. But I want to
exactly.
transition to the last point before we ran out of time because
Yeah, okay. All right.
let's go
So,
over the
so
last
we can
one.
finish the episode with the last quality
Last point, yeah.
of the of a Kamalayan learner.
Hmm.
Okay, number 20. A Kamalayan learner never stops learning.
Okay.
Lifelong learner.
Yep.
Okay, one lifetime is not enough. It is a continuous learning and transforming process. Man's mind is able to perceive only what he is programmed to, starting from his early years up to the present. Everything in one's programming determines one's consciousness. What are the stumbling blocks to one's evolution of consciousness? Many of our negative habits, attitude problems, and our limited views on life are the ones contributing to our getting stuck at a certain level. The quality of one's life is a reflection of one's level of consciousness. To be able to experience the heavenly joys here on earth, one must attune his mind to the positive side of life and stay focused there all the time. Maximizing spiritual power can make a person perform many miracles. Actually, what we call miracles are just ordinary manifestations to an individual with a high level of consciousness.
Mhm.
To achieve this, one must study the art and science of life. What appears as a complex subject matter is not really as hard or complicated to learn as it may seem. One just has to start where he is, recall what he knows already, analyze his situation, change whatever has to be changed, and start learning more on how to make his life better. Obsolete education. In this day and age, so much information is accessible, and the problem we have is how to choose which ones can be useful to us. Much of the knowledge at present that we are using is already inadequate in many instances. New researches, new discoveries, and new theories are very important for us to study to cope with the overwhelming changes that are affecting our lives. We cannot ignore the fact that our educational system has failed to come up with a new model to replace the obsolete. We already have the new knowledge we can learn from, and it is about time that we take away from the academe the responsibility of imparting it for the benefit of many more. I wrote this before the time of AI, so now AI is helping us do something positive for education.
Right, right, right.
Wait, we'll just conclude this with this paragraph. New consciousness. The world is now experiencing a perplexed period of transition wherein we now clearly see Kamalayan learners become new leaders who can inspire and energize others to a new level of consciousness. In this age of great change and uncertainty, there are new opportunities and challenges to be faced, but only those who are creative, those who have the right imagination of a new world will flourish. It is about time that this new breed of people called Kamalayan learners share their vision of oneness and map out a new future where greatness reigns in each one being uh, where greatness reigns in each one by being men and women of great thoughts and actions. That's it. That's the last one.
Very good. So the while you were reading the comment I wrote here is um our Vipassana practice, which is the art of living.
Yeah,
I think I let you borrow that book, Art of Living and the Art of Dying. So for people, for viewers who are interested in um, reading about it, it's called Art of Living and Art of Dying. I would suggest you read that. And also, you mentioned that recalling or remembering when when you were speaking about that last point, what came to mind is we really know the answers already. We just need
yeah.
to tap in.
We
We
just
just
have to
need to
remember
connect.
everything.
Correct,
We have
correct.
everything already
Yep,
in
you have
us.
to just remember. But since we are so indoctrinated, again, it goes back to what we've been saying from the beginning that people don't know who they are.
Yeah,
So,
but things
Kuya
are
Tats,
changing.
why don't you help the viewers tell them who they are?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, okay. Now we are now experiencing these changes that we are now faced with the chaos,
Mhm,
the collapse of many institutions that we are now
mhm.
looking at the systems. And
Yep.
so, what is it saying, or what is it telling us? That there is already a new thing that is going to take place, that is going to take effect, and this new human that we are supposed who is supposed to really be living in this new, I would say, world or new earth, this is something that we expect to happen within this year. As a matter of fact, this is already the period where everything is already being experienced so fast in terms of these changes that are happening. That's why we need to tell people, hey, wake up, because, you know, otherwise you'll just be caught uh, in terms of what they are feeling or looking at or experiencing, and they will say, okay, I don't think I'll be able to understand this, so I will just not uh, follow what is there to be learned, or whatever is new. And so they also would just quit in terms of really changing for the better, for a higher consciousness. So what I'm trying to say here is, these things that we are now looking at, this is not the future. This is the present now. We are now experiencing a new age. We are now living in the age of Aquarius. Although it's not really exactly the exact time, but it's we're in the cusp of the
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius
Age.
age. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, we're not anymore in the cusp, because in the 60s we already had been singing this song.
Yeah.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius
Yeah.
during the 60s. The age of with the dawning, we were saying the dawning, the cusp. During that time, it was already the cusp of the age of Aquarius, and that was the 60s. And so, how many years after now? We're
The
in
people in the
a
60s are the ones who are, I would think, the first wave of volunteers that
volunteers.
Dolores
Yes,
Can Dolores Cannon was talking about.
yeah.
The
That's
people in
why
the
they
60s.
already mentioned already the age of Aquarius is already
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
And they were talking of harmony and understanding, which is what is supposed to be experienced now. Not war, not chaos, not problems, not sickness. You know, everything is supposed to be heavenly already. That's what
Yeah.
we're trying to create now. That's why we're always mentioning or reminding people we are now living in a new world. Okay, maybe, all right, they are not seeing it, but it's all inside us. It's in our consciousness. Practically everything is a reflection of our consciousness. So
Yes.
it all starts within us. So if you would like to see that new world that we're talking about, you
Mm-hmm.
have now to see it first in yourself, in what
Yes.
you're now believing.
I'm so
You have
glad
to
you
now,
mentioned I'm so glad you mentioned that, Kuya Tats, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yep,
that's one of the things that was downloaded to me that I need to talk about this earlier, actually, just before we start our Zoom call here. The guidance to me was tell people that the reason why they're not seeing what you're seeing is because they need to raise their consciousness, their
yes,
vibration, so that they can see what you're able to see.
exactly,
Because to
because
them you're crazy because you're saying all these things, but the normies, the majority of the people can't see or not experiencing the same thing that I'm saying, the same thing that I'm experiencing. So my guide said that you have to explain to them that in order for them to see what you're seeing, what you're saying, what you're experiencing, they need to expand their consciousness. They need to raise
exactly,
their vibration in order to see. So I'm glad that you
as above,
mentioned that.
so is below, as within, as without. In
Yes.
other words, what is inside you is what you reflect outside. That's why,
Mm.
even if, for example, me, you will see me seated with another person, my world is different from the other person who is sitting
Correct.
beside me. We might be
Yeah.
experiencing the same things, but we are experiencing the same things differently.
Yes.
So we may be eating the same things, but we are experiencing it differently from each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So we are all different, living in a different world. Right now, I
Yes.
am already in this new world that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about. I am
Yes.
already
Yes.
experiencing this heaven on earth.
Yes,
That's why
yes,
I'm telling people you have to first experience it inside you, change your consciousness, change your
yes,
beliefs, because the moment you change your beliefs, everything will just naturally change outside.
yes. Your
Just
external will change.
because it will just reflect. It's just a mirror of
Yes,
who you are.
correct, correct, correct.
But
I'm
that's
glad
not what
we're
people know.
I'm glad we're including this topic in this last episode because this is really really important right now.
Exactly.
And we're not, nobody really explained these things to us.
Yeah, not not in church.
Not in school, not in church. So I'm so
That's why
glad
when
that
I talk
we're
about
able.
this, talagang I present it as if, kunyari, I was just writing an article, I present it to my friends, and then they say, my God, it makes sense, but how come nobody taught this to us? Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
teaching you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So anything else you want to add
Well, okay,
with the
well,
19 and
oh,
20?
we're already, ano na, no? 1 hour na. Oh,
Yeah.
anyway, so practically, we need to evolve to a higher level of consciousness and knowing how to evolve to that higher consciousness by using this Kamalayan traits or qualities, it
Mm-hmm.
will really be a big help because practically we explain thoroughly
Mm-hmm.
many of the qualities as to how it can be attained. And it
Yes,
is not a
we
simple
did.
thing. So
Yeah.
maybe now we have a complete compilation, or rather, yeah, a complete uh, we have a compilation already of the 20 qualities. We can put it all together in one video, I mean, one set
Post.
and
Mm-mm.
promote it as well. Yeah, that's it. I mean, they can actually just play it um, according to the time or according to their availability to listen to it or to watch it. Yeah. We're
Yeah,
not
we
imposing anything.
right. There's I think this is like the eighth. Yeah, this is the eighth video. So we covered the 20 qualities of Kamalayan Learner in 8 videos. So
No,
if you
imagine.
miss, yeah, if you miss the videos, I will post them
So
um
practically two
with my
videos. I
post.
mean, two qualities per video. That's a
Yeah,
20.
because we had so much to cover. That's why. And so yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm glad.
glad we were able to to cover all of the
Yeah,
20
I'm
in
happy that
8 videos.
actually you gave me this opportunity to talk about it again because I had been producing videos of this in the past, but then again, I don't know if they really got to understand it or whatever. But now with your help, you're able to expound more about what we had been talking about.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I wanted to do this because it's really time that people get on board with this. Otherwise, they're gonna keep creating the same experience that they have been
Yeah,
creating unless they realize and unless they learn that there are other ways. I hate to see people get stuck because because they have the power to unstuck themselves, but they
yeah,
just don't know how. And the last point that I want to make to the viewers is that if you're able to get yourself into that situation, you are also have the ability to get out of that situation.
exactly.
You
Because
always have the answer,
you have not only the answer but the power as
the
well.
power.
Because you are God as you.
Yes, the
That's what
power.
people
Because
don't understand.
yeah, it doesn't like, okay, just for example, uh people I could already hear people say, "Oh, I can't do that because of this." So what happens when you say that is that you are giving yourself an excuse not to get out of that situation when you make
Yeah, because
excuses like that.
they have accepted the fact that they're just sapagkat kami tao lamang.
Yeah, see,
See, I
that's the
mean,
thing.
that's
The way they
exactly what,
speak. Yeah. So
mahina ako, tao lang ako. Sorry ha, tao lang kasi ako. Di ba?
They're
Apologetic ka pa,
affirming.
tao ka lang.
They are affirming. No, you're
And
not just tao. You're not just tao. You're very
yeah,
powerful.
actually, you're lucky to be a human being as well, because
Yeah.
many spirits really would want to have that experience of being human, having a body, human body. But not many are able to actually have this privilege. And so we are lucky to be born into a human body and experience being spiritual and having a body at the same time.
That's a
See,
good point. One thing that I want to comment on is that there are people who does not believe in soul.
see,
They
well,
don't believe in incarnation. They don't believe that. They
and
don't
that's why we
believe
have to
any of
just
that.
keep on talking about this until they get tired of listening to us, and then say, okay, now I think I see your point.
Yeah.
Although we're not
I
imposing it on them.
yeah, I think what's gonna happen is there's four stages of truth, and I cannot name all of them right now, but I posted it. I know I posted it back in 2020. There's four stages of truth. So basically, it's something like first it would be laughed at. The truth would be
Yeah,
laughed at because it's not, people don't know about
accept,
it.
no, not
People that
accepted.
not accepting it. But when more and more people accept that, then it becomes the truth.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
think I think that's what's going to happen in this, in what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of people are not believing in reincarnation, not believing in souls, not
yeah,
believing in past lives. But I think when the full revelation, the full disclosure has been disclosed to people, which is hopefully
yeah,
this year, then
exactly.
people don't have
That's
any
why
choice but to
when I
believe.
tell people, what will you do if you get to experience already an extraterrestrial in front of you? Well, what will you feel? Exactly, what will you do? You'll be
Yeah.
afraid? I suppose they'll be afraid. They will think that they will be harmed by these beings.
No,
And so,
I think what's gonna happen is it's not gonna manifest for them. They're not gonna see it. They have to be
well,
ready
they
for it
will
to
they will
see it.
hear it in the news. They will be
Yes,
able
that's
to
it.
hear it in the news. They will already be able to, because maybe Trump would just announce it one time. Hey, we believe that they are here already. So what will you now make out of that? I mean, if the president of the U.S. would announce it, I mean, a president of, I think, Venezuela already announced it before that he actually experienced a bit, I mean, having met an extraterrestrial in the past. And sabi
Kuya
niya,
Tato,
they are true.
we have to tell people who we are. Tell
Exactly.
them who you are.
I
You
am,
you are an alien. We
we
are
are
an
all
alien.
aliens. We are all, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. Maybe not exactly just because we are all, I would say, multidimensional.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes there are beings who are actually okay. If you will actually study the identification of those who actually started from when the spirit separated from God to be able to make to for God to experience individually everything. There were those who actually thought that, wow, I am God as me. So I can create everything that I want to create, and I don't have to be uh, submissive again to the God I came from, to who I acknowledge as the God in the first place. And so now they separated themselves from God, and these are practically what made uh, the different kinds of I would say beings on earth, or not only on earth, but also in heaven. That's why you have angelic beings, the angels. and you have the hierarchy of angels as well. Now, the other ones are the extraterrestrials already who actually colonized other planets and other
And Earth.
and Earth practically tayo.
The
So in
Anunnaki
other words,
story.
that that one spirit that became many and created a lot of beings like aliens, God, I mean aliens, angels, and other whatever, practically are all one and the same. So we're not supposed to, to fight each other because practically we all came from the same source, the same God. That's why God gave us free will. That's why when God practically said, or when the other uh, beings were asking God, God, would you not, would you just condemn them in terms of what they did to you? Why are you not just, telling them, okay, that I will not anymore acknowledge you as one with me? And God, you know what God said? No, they will return. I gave them free will, and it's all up to them to just decide as to when. So, in other words, everything is just going back to God.
Yes.
Everyone.
And that's what we're trying to do here now. And this is a good spot to end this before we move forward with another topic because it's not going to end. So
Okay.
with that said, we covered all the 20
20 qualities.
qualities, and in the next video we will be talking about um, more exciting topics that are
Okay,
not learned
maybe
in
I would
school
just
and
add to
church.
maybe I would just add to why I actually created those 20 qualities because people are asking me, how do I become a Kamalayan learner? How do I become how will I become part of the Kamalayan movement? Sabi ko, you have to be a Kamalayan learner. You have to know exactly what we talk about in Kamalayan, what we
Hmm.
do in Kamalayan. So that's how I created or wrote. That's why I wrote all those 20 qualities that you have to imbibe first so that you will be a full-fledged member of the Kamalayan movement.
Yes. All right. Thank you for making that distinction, clarification. Thank you, Kuya Tato, for your time again
You're welcome. And
today.
I thank you also for giving me this
Yes,
opportunity
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thanks, viewer, for watching, and we'll see you next week.
for other topics.
Yes, correct. New topic. Okay, that's good. Kuya Tato, what's gonna be our next topic? What would you like to?
Oh, dami. Ikaw, anong gusto mo? I mean, we're open to anything. I
Yeah.
mean, anyway,
Let's
sige.
let's
I mean, we
let's.
will meet.
If
I
you don't
mean,
have, if you don't
are
have,
you going to Kamalayan on Friday? This coming Friday, we have one in Seattle's Best again.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
already scheduled for Friday.
Hmm. So you don't have one yet, right?
Uh, no, I actually am open to anything. I mean, I always would just. That's why it's like asking me what will I write about tomorrow.
Okay, because um I do have some ideas, but I probably just going to text it to you, and then you decide what would be a good topic to discuss next, because there are a lot of things that we can talk about, but we want to make sure that we emphasize the topic that's most needed right now.
Yeah,
So
you select. I mean,
yeah,
you're going to choose the lang.
yeah.
Anyway, talking
So
about the band,
yes,
remember, wow, sayang sana nakapunta ka because
actually, this is what happened, Kuya Tats. I I set an intent. Sabi ko, Spirit, I want to go, but something's pulling me back. I don't know what. So I'll do this. I'll ask Lexi. if he's in BGC working, and if he's available, I'll ask him if he can come with me. Kasi ang iniisip ko, kapag ginabi ako, at least meron akong kasama, tsaka meron akong way to get home if we have to take the train and something or something. Eh kaso, ang work niya noon until 6:30 pa. So,
Pero
makakarating na kami
anyway,
7:30.
no problem with that. Actually, because most of them were staying in the south, so all of them were passing Makati going home because many
Mm,
of them
mm,
stayed
mm.
in Cavite. So
Oh, okay,
practically,
okay. Did you
they
invite
have
them
to.
tomorrow? I mean, on Friday?
No, no. I am having a different kind of a session for them
Oh, okay.
because I'm discussing already the 7 principles already there to them. And ang maganda rito, okay, we had a very good, they were very good talaga. The owner of the rehearsal place, yung rehearsal studio, sabi nga niya, this is the first time I heard a band play like this inside my rehearsal studio. I mean, among the many who had been playing there. I mean, grabe. Talagang, I mean, that's why I knew. I met them before naman. I knew how good they were already. So, sabi ko, I won't have any problem when it comes to your skills because basically you're very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all I have to do is to make you sing Kamalayan songs. Yung kwan ko. So, open naman sila. So, when I introduced Kamalayan, wow, yun na. Naging ano na sila. And then, eto lang nakakatawa eh. One of them, although he was not officially a member pa,
Mm-hmm.
buti na lang, hindi pa siya officially member because, ano siya eh, he belonged to yung dating daan, yung kay Eli Soriano. And sabi niya, at kasi ang una ko tinanong sa kanila when we were eating, do you believe in extraterrestrials? Sabi ko ganyan. All of them said, except for one. Sabi niya, hindi, kasi wala sa Bible yan. Okay. Sabi ko, ano ba ang religion mo? Sabi niya, dating na, okay, I will not debate with you. Kilala ko ang, ano dyan, I know the people behind that, so okay lang. Anyway, so the others, ano talaga, they had experiences with ETs. They saw flying saucers already in the past. So, sabi niya, no problem with that. Tanggap namin yan. Okay lang. But more than that, the Kamalayan advocacy, when I actually talked about, kasi I haven't presented this to people like you, yung binibigay ko seminar, yung principles that I give to those who take up yung star consciousness. When I discussed the first principle, grabe yung haba nun. And nabubuksan lahat yung kanila, yung mind nila to the Kamalayan advocacy. And so, they found it, sabi niya, this is what we want, sabi niya. This is what we want to be really doing in terms of becoming whatever they would want to become in the future. So, okay na. So, the moment you get to see them one time, maybe, say I asked them, not on a rehearsal, ako naman, kasi we will continue with the last 6 principles. Sabi ko, book, book, I mean, book a day, find a day where all of you are available, except for that one na hindi na nila kukunin nga because of his belief. Hindi
Yeah, the
like that.
belief is off, bit different.
Belief is off. So, hindi na yan, iba na yan. But the others who will stay, sabi ko, book one day sa MOA because I want you not to be, ano naman, napapagod kayo. Kami say, most of you come from the south. Ang lalayo,
Mm-hmm.
Cavite. So, I would be the one now to go instead to a neutral place. I'll go to MOA, to a cafe MOA and talk about the rest of the fun. Maybe doon, pwede mo mamit sila
Mm.
para makita mo ang kanila. Well, practically, they're very good in terms of who they are as they. But if you want to see some members play uh, in a band every Thursday and Saturday, They play in uh, City of Dreams in Asiara, uh, in
Yeah.
Ross Boulevard, yun doon.
Yeah.
But yung iba members wala doon. Pero yun na nga, the three other guys are there. Pero yun na nga, this is a new band that we're performing. So okay sila. I mean, they're
That's
very
good.
nice guys.
So what you gave them the songs already that they have to play?
Yeah, I gave them the songs, and actually they have their original songs already pa also. And sabi ko nga, I have this concept that I want to do it. I mean, instead of coming up with an album, wala na naman album eh. Nobody buys an album because nobody produces an album.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do what Romel did, yung a
Mm-hmm.
book. Because I have this book eh, yung Kamalayan, I mean yung uh, I've written two books that can easily carry the songs that we want to make them sing. Dun sa, ilalagay yung, you know what, do you know exactly what Rommel did with this book? He put a QR code in every chapter. And when you put your phone on the QR code, it would play the song that the QR code actually would suggest. So, doon ko ilalagay yung mga kanta nila. So, parang gano'n ang gimmick. Yung parang, yeah, you buy your book, ako ang po-promote ako, but you will hear the songs of this band in chapters, different chapters of the book. And so parang unique yung kanila. So that's how they will be launched with a book plus sila. Yan ang bala ko.
Okay.
So
So are they already in social media? Are they already promoting their songs in?
no, they are quiet about it. Uh, they don't want anyone to make it listen. But I can actually send it to you for you to be able to listen to some of the songs.
Yeah. So paano nyo sila ipopromote?
Yun na nga, ang kwan ko na talaga is through the book muna. So
But
that
that's the four songs, not their original songs.
hindi, may kanta rin sila doon. Kasama ron.
Okay.
So, in other words, kasi love songs yung kanila eh. Ang ganda ng love songs nila eh. Practically, I fell in love with their songs. That's why I
Sino
said
yung
yes to them.
sila yung nag-write ng songs
Oo, sila
original?
nag-write the songs. One of them, yung lead guitarist, who's a friend of mine. Tagal ko lang kwan siya. He used
Ano
to be a
siya,
member of
yung Filipino songs or
Oh,
English?
Tagalog. Tagalog ang
Tagalog.
sinulat niya. But my songs are in English. Kaya, pero nilagyan ko rin ng Tagalog. Pinagawa ko na ng Tagalog para lang konsepto
Mm-hmm.
Tagalog mo na. But okay lang yun. But what I'm trying to come up with here is when I talked about what love is all about, doon nabuksan yung isipan nila as to how wrong they were thinking about the love that they used to think about, especially in their relationships. So, nung nalaman nila na, o nga, no, dapat pala ganito ang natin. Sige, we'll talk about that sa concert namin. So we can explain how love is supposed to be in terms of who we are. Because it's not a 50-50 thing. It's not a give and take thing. It's it's unconditional love. So, yun ang mangyayari. So, they're open to it. They love it. They love the concept. So, yun
That's
nga.
exciting. New
Problema.
project.
Yeah.
That's exciting. It's a new
Ako lang
project.
nga nagmamadali eh. Sabi ko, sige, next week, recording na tayo. Hindi, wag mo na. Give us 3 months. We have to, i-work. Kasi I told them, i-bootcamp ko sila eh. Hindi pwedeng, ngayon, kung nakagad. Ako nga na-excite na, sige, kuha ko na kayo. Hindi, sabi mo, 3 months po kami 3 months tayo And then in 3 months time, everything is there. So the book is there. You launch us and naka-program lahat. So Kasi sabi ko, I'll do it as professional as how K-pop would do it na talagang ano everything is covered. Hindi yung ay may kulang pa ito. For kahapon, they asked me, ano ang kuwan natin image? So I sent some images from nag-ano ako sa AI ko how na to create some costumes for them. Sabi ko, mamili kayo dyan. Ang dami. Oh, ganda ito. Sige, sige, pagpipilian namin. Tapos gusto ko galactic. Hindi, wag mo na yung galactic. Ito muna. Sabi ko, sige, sige. Take your time. So,
Hmm,
they're looking now at everything in a professional way
that's good.
na hindi
Bakit
sila,
mo naman, nakita ko yung post mo, tapos inalis mo yung picture
they actually asked for it. They
to
requested.
remove?
Oo, kasi they're still playing with the other band.
Ah, okay.
Hindi alam ng members sila na magkikwit na sila doon. So, para lang wag
Ah,
mo nang maano.
okay.
So, para wag mo na ma, maipit sila in terms of
Correct.
what they're doing. So, sabi
Yeah.
nga, okay, sabi ko, 3 months. So, sige, play with your band 3 months po. Pero the moment after 3 months, we launch you. Iba na talaga kayo.
Okay. Okay. So when you have your next meeting in MOA, let me know. And if I'm
Yung
available,
meeting,
then I
para at
can.
least, you haven't actually experienced my Star Consciousness seminar. So practically, it's not really Star Consciousness. It's really Kamalayan. Tinawag ko lang Star Consciousness so para lang appealing sa mga taong gusto kunyari maging
Correct, correct,
showbiz
correct.
stars. Pero practically, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yun ang mga mangyayari na. So, ngayon, they're also giving, somebody is applying a girl naman, a singer.
Mm-mm.
Medyo, na siya, 40-ish na.
Oo.
Pero sabi ko, I will not say no to that because I know she's very good and
Mm-hmm.
she can sing also some of my Kamalayan songs
Mm-hmm.
na Juan. Ang ganda siya eh. Magaling, maganda. She can sing classical, she can sing pop, she can do whatever. Kaya talagang pag nilaunch ko siya, sasabihin nila, saan galing to? Bakit kayo lang namin nadinig to? Ang galing-galing nito.
Oo. That's good.
Pero Kamalayan ang kanya. Sabi ko,
Concept.
basta ang concept niya Kamalayan. Sabi nung nag-introduce sa akin.
Very good,
So
very good.
practically, I'm having a nice, naman with this, nice time with these people now.
Mukhang talagang we're feeling that high vibe energy na talaga.
Yeah, it's about time. Kasi we just cannot just talk about it this way. People will understand us better pag
Mm-hmm.
may music eh. Pag sila nagsalita, mas aanuhin nila, mas paniniwalaan nila eh. So sabi ko, you'll be my mouthpiece. Kunyari lang
Mm-mm.
kanta-kanta yan, pero practically, I will have to mold you in a Kamalayan. Yun na, yung quality sa Kamalayan Learner, ano ko sa kanila yan. So that's how they will become a Kamalayan group talaga. So,
Yeah.
tama yung timetable yan. Hindi sila nagmamadali. Okay.
Yeah.
They want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
learn everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Hmm.
And gives them time to to take care of the things, the existing stuff that they need to take care of with the old band.
Yeah, oo. Yung kanya. Kasi abrupt naman yung babaguhin ko kagad yung lifestyle nila at this moment. And they're
Yeah.
doing several things pa up to the plan.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, good. Thank you so much. I'll see you Friday.
All right, Friday. See you again at Glorieta.
All righty. I'll
All
send you the
right,
link.
bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.